Poetry Center, bringing poetry to Paterson since 1980 at Passaic County Community College.
I'm going to introduce Deborah Landau, and she's the author of 5 books of poetry, Skeletons, Soft Targets, winner of the Believer Book Award, The Uses of the Body, The Last Usable Hour, and I don't know how to, Orchid Delirium? Mm-hmm. Okay, Orchid Delirium. Her poems have appeared in the New Yorker, the Paris Review, Poetry, APR, the New York Times, and the Best American Poetry, and she was the 2016 Guggenheim Fellow. She's a professor and director of the creative writing program at New York University and lives in Brooklyn for her family. She's running a very successful and very visible program at NYU, and you have to be proud of you should be very proud of what you've done with this program and how well known it is at this point. And I think that's a wonderful thing. Anyway, let's welcome Deborah Landau.
Thank you so much for having me, and thanks everyone who's here and the people who I'm told are on YouTube or will be. Hi to you too. I was asked to read for 25 to 30 minutes, so I'll do that. This is my brand new book. I'm just getting used to reading from it, so forgive me as I work out the order. And I've got a stopwatch here, there. All right. Flesh. It must give pleasure, but it rarely does. But pleasure is so useful when it comes. Pleasure says, this is your sort of place, your year. You live here. Pleasure's the perfect swerve. It wins you back. Pain won't take you nowhere. Chocolate on the tongue, vodka, velvet, voila. A zipper slinking in its silver, its long slide down. Oh, please. Thank you. All right, so the book is comprised of a long sequence of poems called Skeletons, which is the title of the book, and then interstitial poems called Flesh. And I'm going to read kind of, I guess, from beginning to end, one poem after another. I don't have a lot of shtick to go with it, so you can let me know after if you have ideas. All right, Skeleton. So whatever's the opposite of a Buddhist, that's what I am. Kind-hearted, yes, but knee-deep in existential gloom. Except when the fog smokes the bridges like this, like instead of being afraid we might juice ourselves up, like might get kissed again. Dwelling in bones, I go straight through life, a sublime abundance, cherries, dog's breath, the sun, then ouch, and all of us snuffed out. Dear one, what's waiting for us tonight? Nostalgia, the homes of childhood, oblivion, how we hate to go. Skeleton. Sundays I spend feeling sorry for myself. I've got a knack for it. I'm morbid, make the worst of any season, exclamation point. Yet levity's a liquor of sorts, lowers us through life toward the terminus soon extinguished. Darling, the comfort is slight. Tucked in bed, we search each other for some alternative. Oh, let's marvel at the world, the stroke and colors of it, now, while breathing. Skeleton. Superluminal travel isn't possible for humans, you said. It seemed karmic. We were running toward abundance as if our lives depended on it, egads, but never fast enough. To Fermata, the present lacuna was another way, an opposite approach. Embrace this day. You are transitory, the world laughed. Oh yeah, we laughed back. So what? Ovulating while it lasted was a blast, mainlining that eros, nectar, nabbed, as if. Any way out of this bag of bones? Skeleton. Serenity, that's a vicious circular one. I've tried loving kindness, chocolate, running at night, vitality, energy drinks, slacking on a terrace in Paris, deep breath, lilacs, trying to chill out. What a joke. It don't last long. Everything dulls to a fugue state, its singular pulsing tremor, its lack of friction. Yet persists such capacity to feel alive, oceanic in my longing for rain, for the end of me, fluidity, freedom, numinous, the world glowing on without us, its golden hours and shady graves. You might notice that all these poems start with the letter S, and they're actually acrostics that say skeletons down the left side, which I try not to say too early in the reading because I don't want you to be looking for the words, but the truth is when I started writing this book, I was stuck. It was March 2020, pandemic Brooklyn. Everyone in my family was in the same room with me, and I thought I'd never write again, so I gave myself this assignment to write these acrostics, and the book grew from that. So, yeah. Skeleton. Sugar withdrawal symptoms turn out to be what exactly? Keto flu, depression, killer headaches, and cravings, cravings, cravings. Endorphins, how I long for you. Longing, that's a sugar. And love is. Morning sun, too, especially through open windows, and earth is a sugar while it still greens around us. What else sweetens? Not the internet, not tweets, except Alex's, poems in tweets clothing, definitely not one a tweet from the president. Yet iced with the season's first narcissus blooms this day, and somehow it's still a thrill to wake, warm-bodied, alive. Skeleton. Strutting avec Cyndi Lauper, a flourish. Stunt kissing Kevin S. behind school on roller skates, getting all electric in biology class at Dairy Queen, babysitting, Eric M. lying on top of me under layers of Michigan winter. We were excessive. Those scenarios could get orthodontically complex. Trepidatious afterglow, we'd saunter back to school. Who needed oratory? We were mad for the body and it's meant for pleasure, finery, lips a cherry, nails glossed wine, libido and overdrive, meant to keep us here a long time. Flesh. I had to write the flesh poems because there was too much death otherwise. So here's some arrows. I kind of wove this sequence through the book after I was done with all the skeletons. Flesh, to be kissed, waiter. I like watching you, sliding into the banquette with a red wine, a warm glass, still animate. Only flesh is elevating, it clasps. A prick can be key, how it brings along exquisite its red life animal press, dark between bones like the body's answer to the doozy of us, hurled forward, still talking, all spent, and always dizzying near with sour breath times metric. Shh. And here's some deep pandemic poems. I don't think anyone really wants to think about it now, but couldn't help but write about it. Skeleton. Streaming Netflix is the opposite of action. A nap kept low burning on the margins as if not existing, I don't exist. Slipped from the yoke of life, simple, lazy, the hours pass until the act of life, its people and tethers, ether wisp into a feint of memory, a trace. The small art and craft of talk, how did we manage it? Some things stayed the same, like our nostalgia, like insomnia. Faraway places became more like this place. Nights were felt as a stream of departures in the hive. Flesh. Every bliss is built this way, a hollow thing, with many entrances, with blood pumping a live tongue and limber torso, a fine sweat rising in. We dirty ourselves up. We leave our print. The night sky, 'tis a lozenge that cuts through the larded mind. How I am inside, I can scarce encompass it. Eros sleeps with the windows open to uncoffin the room, the wind blowing across the bed, trees scarecrowing the sky. Congratulations, you scored a heat. It's safe to say we lived for this back then in Berkeley, Ann Arbor, Gowanus. Eros travels everywhere in its morphine case. And again, our clothes are on the floor. Did you come? I'm hiding behind this language. What if I just went and said it, direct, face to face, unblushing? Skeleton. Should we get a dog? We talked about it for blocks. Klutzes, what would we do with a puppy? You with your edibles and me kind of losing my mind. Look at us here, stranded. Long weekend, the longest. Evidently, we've been cultivating a deliberate recklessness, trapped in this getaway for what feels like oblivion. Are you for real? It's a marvelous toxin, shut-in narcotic in these parentheses, nodding off together, one breath at a time. Skeleton. She tended to ruminate, spawning sad, kind of plaintive poems, as if the poem wanted a friend to eat dinner with, as if the poem were afraid of being alone all its life. DL, what's wrong with you? Stuck in the dense echo chamber of your head all the time? You seem like a lively person, he said, though your poems are so bleak. Oof, that's like when a man calls out, "Smile now, sunshine," as you walk down the street. Flesh. I thought a lot about your body, my body, what it is to lie in bed together and sleep. To the shores of silent dark and back we went each night, like that wasn't a mystery. Our physicality grew more hulking. More and more I had to squint at the mirror to recognize my face, that cracked window. Flesh. The long and short of it is, a podcast can only take you so far. There goes our summer neighbor, wife of Bathing It, at the barbecue again. Her toned shoulders, her back talk and small army of dogs. Here we still are. Another summer, same bathing suit, same cutoffs and blueberries, the same sordid daydream I keep having, ashamed here to say because someone might see. We won't do a single new thing, it turns out, just keep cycling through the years as if they were endless, as if they'll never cease. Will we ever run out of days? Who dares to count? To say there are maybe 30 more Christmases, if we're lucky, 30 more Julys. Skeleton. Summer dark found us binge-watching the Perseid, perched high-kinked on the lifeguard chair, undertowed by sky. The stars again with their echolalia, their vanishing. August had come round once more with its compulsory lusciousness, its tang of berries on the tongue. We preened in preparation, epilation predictable as rosé, grass stains, mosquito bites, biking at night. Toddlers thumbed their noses at the pandemic, the sidelined octogenarians. We tried to stay preoccupied with seasonal frivolities like how nano or non were our sunscreens, like flip-flops, tick checks, the cycle of tides. Okay, this poem's a little different. I was on the slowdown yesterday. It's longer. Flesh, you and your ecstasy of coffee, me all amped on juice, an ooze of sunshine, a foil of water, a concordance, two waves in sync, making a larger bright. It's unseasonably warm again. Nothing will bloom. The trees blown way ahead of schedule. And we never kissed, not even once, despite the come-ons of summer scented with rain, lilacs in the deli tempting to send me over the edge as if we could rinse everything and be clean again. But no, Thursday, 4 p.m. The city can be beautiful when it wants to. Stands around so photogenic by the boat pond. Lucent doorway of the day beams us through. Pine nettles, puddles, tussle on the sidewalk, a pigeon or two. Streaming by, here come the minutes, exposing themselves, and there they go. What is real? June keeps on flaunting its meadow of music, its drink. Let's leave our apartments and go to the park. It's a festival. We want a popsicle, some honeydew, a break. Let's go out into the music, flowing broadly now through giant speakers. The success of friendship, let's drink to it. Hello, emptiness that is coming. It will engulf. And then, a freighted woman, I'll fall back into my hole. Goodbye. My body will never be satisfied, but here in the pre-headache seasonal glitter, first burst of summer, still the thrill of it, the heat. Major Jackson read it better than I did. That's the thing with a new book, like you're just figuring it out. All right. Good thing I have a timer. You need to have a timer. You feel like you went on for a whole hour and it's only 15 minutes. All right. Flesh. I wanted to write the thing itself, pinned, magnetic, ambient swoon in the infinite air, eros writ large, life, the full force of it, pressing us together, good and hard. But what? Flesh. It wouldn't be so bad if it didn't all go on without you. These inhabited days, the no-see-ums of the 5th arrondissement that bit us all summer, the hard fact of time hauling us forward lit. This is the nth year of my life, and so far it's not the last, and so far it's not the sweetest, but it is because life is sweet. Swept out what the tide will be, beached even, as the mornings keep chirping on, and suddenly, the 10-day weather forecast, the 10th day of rain, we won't be in it. We'll miss the ice storm, we'll be gone before the blizzard, we'll lie down in the dark forever, just bones. But Monday says, off with you, okay, and M is packed up, and come on, boys, and in the cloth of fall into the wind toward the first day of September, yielding again, forward swept. Into the not young we go a while before ghosting the old. Mommy in midlife, is she non-perishable? Of course not. Let's play full speed ahead with the bright souvenirs of this day. Wasn't I a hapless one? Fundamentally mental. Watching days go by this life not knowing how to do it. Watching the boys turn 10, then teenaged, then. The new baby girl, a surprise that grew up too. Intricate past, numb present, and the future that narrows all of us into a shovel of dirt. This is my 5th book of poems. I had my way with each of them. I looked up and I was older than my mother ever was. Right, so the book ends with a series of poems called Ecstasies, and I'm going to end with that, and it should bring us right to the end of my time here. Not on planet Earth, but on the stage. Okay. I think it's got four or five parts. Ecstasies. Into the XYZs of nights and days we stayed, as if the conversation would go on forever. You, ample days of you. Your beard accumulating a bit of snow. The gradual showing of bone, a grizzled diminishment. The stacked up winters, each in its place. In this manner, the years. Spooled out on the other side as if in plain view, a field without you. Meanwhile, we took good care. The greens were organic, honey sweetened the pot. The membrane between us stayed transparent, and we took seriously our allegiance to dream. 2. Like most people, I'm sad at the source. What is my task then? Tisk, throb, begin. The very best time for the body is in a lighted doorway after a snowstorm in the bathtub with a dog standing by. The best time for the body is now, aspirational in the same space, the bed, where we treat ourselves. Here, come on, crawl in. It is quiet here in the room of our insomnia. The body in its simple existence, lips, thighs, feet. Birth and love and death, 3 songs. Creaks and cricks the skeleton, but shush, it's still alive with its hat of hair, its cloth of skin, its cloak and scaffolding, rickety ribs and spine. Look, these bones are made for us, and the room is mild, and the catastrophe, though nearer, is still not. 3. Are we done with life? I'm still so into it. I like to drink and read and use my mouth, our bodies constellating in the smothering heat as the trucks slam by. The song of a siren has a sort of infinity in it, so too the poof of dove on the sill, drop cloth of sheets, a drench, the coming dusk, drizzle of sky, it's fading and spanning, days become decades, and then we belong to a generation of hideous inattention, clutching our rectangles of light like, who am I talking to? 4. Even coffins oblige. Who could stand to lie still for such a long time? What if I sneeze down there with everyone else above ground breathing? What if nothingness is a cold scrape and no more? Oh, toast and oranges, what are we waiting for? We're just born. We're on the brink. Let's ravel together while we still have limbs in this room made warm by our own resources. Our appetites don't know from time's up. Hurry. We trample everything we touch, accumulate and decay, inelegant machinery, often unsteady, and only ever casually on our way. Wild and nervy beside the bed I knelt like someone trapped in the air of the world. Hey you, you're a body, slow down. Bring on the filth and joy. Proceed as you will. Inhabit your skin like you're still here. 5, it's the last one. Catch me alive, I am today. Swept through the air in a flesh, thinky feeling. Lugging itself up the subway stairs and now back on Spring Street again in the dazing light, pumping the marrow, a breeze of breath, of blood, and still the minutes accelerate and we wake back weighted with days. Will we waste them all? And then when we get there, will we think I wasted them all? Stony before I was laid in stone, mourning before I was mourned. And what was this velvet for? Spring didn't know. Flags of the grave, well, also a jubilance, not just a bawling, and off again toward whatever, drinking exalted or coughing, but still can swallow. And look, all your parts are warm and mostly work. And look, it's luck, while not yet a word from the underworld. The necklace of days, bracelets of hours, the flesh of blood, present swelling, the yes please of sex, the abject of, is it precarious? Yes, exquisite alive, staging its trance, the hand in hand, the mouth sloshed with coffee, sugared and warm. You're silent reading this now. Hi, I'm Deborah Landau.
Now, Deb, you're one of the first poets that kind of read from the pandemic, or it kind of talked about the pandemic and how it has affected you. And now it's in your writing.
Yes.
How does that feel?
How does it feel? It feels like maybe no one wants to hear about it anymore, but I still have a book of poems about it, so I don't know. I mean, we were all in it, right? So I had to make poems, and the poems came out of that time. I was stuck in my desk is in the middle of my living room. I don't have a private office, so March 2020 in Brooklyn, I was at my desk. There's my daughter, my sons, my dog, my husband, sirens going by all day long. I thought I'm never going to write anything again, and but I wrote a book. I mean, what are you going to do?
I really enjoyed it because it brought back memories of my part in the pandemic, which is another story by itself. Things are personal with you also in this book of readings. How has that personally affected you? And then you also talked about family and how it has affected your family members. So what is that relationship now? Has it risen to the point that you guys really totally communicate now? Where you are with
my
all of
family's used to me. This is my 5th book. There's nothing more personal in this book than any of the others. So, and besides, it's there's the art and the life, and you hope that in making the poems you're distilling something. It's not a transcription of the life, actually.
And then lastly, are you able to share any hope, to those folks who also, we all went through the pandemic, any light, anything that you could share with them if they wanted to write, just not as a poet, but just to write, to vent, or whatever the case might be? Anything could you share?
I think what's great about writing is that we get to do something with everything we live through, right? Like, you don't just have to endure it. We all have to endure, but we can also make something from what we endured, and that is a meaningful way of going through life, I think.